Let's call it. Yeah. Let's call this meeting order. This is our Thursday, June the 26th, 25 at 3:30 p.m. Let's do a roll call first. Mr. Burse.
Present.
Mr. Tyndall. Mr. Lucas.
Here.
Mr. Cox.
Here.
Chair's here. Okay. Before we get started, I'm gonna ask Mr. Burse if he would lead us in prayer.
We'll bow our heads. Father, we thank you, Lord, for this day. Father, we pray, God, you will bless us and we will liberate the business of this county and its citizens, oh God. And we thank and praise you, oh God, for how you blessed us in so many wonderful ways. We ask, Lord, you will look upon our world today, oh God. Look upon the leadership in our world. Look upon the citizens. And we pray, God, you will just bless us in this meeting today, oh God. Look upon the citizens of Waycross and Ware County. And we thank you, oh God, for your many blessings. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. We have any guest speakers? No. We're gonna go on to the agenda. Item A is approved the proposed budget for fiscal year of 2026. Okay. We need to go ahead and vote on this thing. So,
We're in the call meeting now, so we
There-
can vote as we go.
let's get a motion and then we'll go to discussion. You got a motion to approve it?
I give a motion that we approve this budget.
I'll second it, Mr.
You got a
Chairman.
motion and a second. Now, is there any discussion on it? For discussion,
We have, I don't know if the manager has anything he wants to add to it, or Ms. Lane, or Ms. York, if she has anything that she wants to add to it.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, I'll just add that, we held a public hearing on this,
Yeah.
Wednesday was a week ago. And this is the, outcome of that public hearing for this budget. And you can see we did, Ms. York, we put it together and actually this year we added a little more, information for the commission as far as your other expenditures and revenues, not just your general fund, expenditures. So, and we have what appears to be a, zero balance budget for fiscal year 2026. And that's, I don't know if Ms. York has anything you want to add?
I'm good.
there is an increase, ain't there?
It's a little bit more than what we discussed last week. And it's my fault because I plugged the wrong number in.
Is that, okay, you just plugged in the wrong numbers. Okay. Timmy, do you have anything on it?
No, sir, my question was just answered.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
if I may, I'd just like to say that, first of all, I want to thank Ms. York and her team, all the department heads for, working in conjunction, in concert with everyone to try to get this budget together, because other than trying to address the citizens' concerns, complaints, or whatever, this is one of the most important things that we do, is to try to get this budget. And one thing we got to remember when we talk about a budget, it's kind of like, in a sense, almost like shooting in the dark. We shooting for, based on past, budgets and expenditures and revenues coming in, so we don't have it's not an exact science where we say we know this is exactly what we're gonna have, so I'm wanting to be kinda optimistic that the revenues will come in more, and if the revenues come in more, then that in turn will mean that we can have monies to maybe do other things, i.e., you know, maybe even increase in the employees, COLA that we got right now. We got 3%
3% budgeted in.
budget in for it right now that we know we can live with, but hopefully we can have, additional revenue that may come in where we can increase that amount for the employees, because I think the employee retention is one of our greatest assets right now to try to retain the people that we have.
Yes.
So, I appreciate everything everyone has put into this budget, and hopefully it'll come in better than what we have projected.
And Mr. Commissioner, what we plan to do is I've spoken with Ms. York, is, we're gonna do we do monthly reviews anyway, but we're gonna do a quarterly review of where we're at. And, so that we can make sure that the revenues are generating what we expect them to generate, and then we'll do a 6-month review and see where we're at, and that'll be the time that if there are some extra funds or extra revenue generated, that we'll look at COLAs or any other things that we may need to plan for.
Okay. I think it's very good.
Okay. Anybody else got anything this, before we approve it? Before we vote on it. Okay, we got a motion and a second. I'm gonna go ahead and call it the vote. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Tindall? You gone? Mr. Lucas? Mr. Cox?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Okay. Let's go to approve the annual senior center meals contract. Approve the annual senior center meals contract. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, for the purpose of discussion, I offer motion that we approve this contract with the, RDC for the senior meals contract.
And I'll second.
All right, I got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I got a question.
Yeah, come on.
This is the one that we have there at the high, at the, old Lake Cross High, is that correct?
No,
This is a
this-
senior
No,
citizen.
this is,
Senior citizen, it's the one that,
regional.
McKinney Center runs from the Nelson Green Center. They're the one that,
Oh, yes, sir.
Maybe I can clarify a little bit.
please
yeah,
do.
The McKinney Center operates the meals for the seniors, and it's done at the Senior Citizen Center down here on Carswell. And they use the building, and we fund the building. The building belongs to Ware County. So we pretty much pay all the expenses down there, and regional area on aging, is that council or
Regional
whatever?
Commission.
They get the grant from the government, and all we are is the pass-through. The grant is cut, they issue a check to us, we issue a check to McKinney issues the invoices to them. So it's just a pass-through, and it doesn't cost us anything.
right,
They just have to approve the contract.
okay,
And I think this is something that's, I
yeah,
don't know, I can't even stress how valuable and how necessary this is for people, cause,
yeah,
you know,
a lot of people.
a lot of people get their meals, and sometimes this may be the only meal maybe they get, or the only meals they get. So, if the Lord bless each of us to keep living, we'll get to that point one day.
That's right.
So, so I think we need to really keep that in mind, and I think McKinney Center does a very valuable and a yeoman's job as far as running this program. And I was talking with Ms. York earlier, I think sometimes they want to not request, but they'll need some additional help, you know, because, we definitely don't want this to fall by the wayside where we say, well, hey, we can't do anything, and then you got people that's going lacking, that's gonna suffer as a result of that.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, the budget for this contract is $81,409. And, it's mostly funded by federal, and then there's a 10% match, which is, is met by the contractor. And that match is usually met by in-kind services from volunteers. They get to count that as, monies received for the local match.
And also, Mr. Chairman, if I'm not mistaken, they also, not only the people that come there get the meal, they also deliver meals to people that's maybe homebound that can't make it there.
Yes, sir. The congregate meals, which is the people that come there, is $52,723, and then the meals they deliver is a budget of $28,686.
Okay. And they've been running this program for how long now?
I'm not sure it's a long
doing a
time.
pretty good
Been a
while.
long time.
Yeah,
I know that McKinney Center's been in business 30 years, so.
yeah.
Yeah.
They've
This
been
year,
doing
I
it a
think.
long time. Okay. All right, let's vote on it. We have any more discussion? Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Tindall? Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. C, Repair Recreation Department PA System on the audit side.
Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna ask if we can have Lance, Adamson, our recreation director,
Yeah.
to come up and speak on this. I know we have one estimate, which is for $11,750, and that estimate, Mr. Adamson obtained, and I think he had tried, and I'll let him elaborate on, how he tried to reach out and get other estimates and was unable to.
Greetings, Mr. Chairman and Commission.
How you doing, Lynn?
Great. We stand before you with the estimate to repair the PA system on the adult side. The PA system is not functioning, and that PA system not only operates the field, but it's an all-call system. So a child gets lost, we can do an all-call, and at this point, we just don't have that service as we once did. The activity on our adult side became very minimum, but the last recent years, our program has increased tremendously. Adult softball program has grown. Now we're getting ready to have a spring season and a fall season. We have a 3 and 4 year old kickball, blast ball. So that side over there is increasing with activity, and we would like to get that side back fully functioning as it once was. Prior to, we have not worked on that project simply because we did not have the activity. But now that we do have the activity, we feel as if it's very important that we get that PA system to work. Secondly is to get that PA system repaired locally. It is very taskful to find someone who works on that specifically. We made 2 attempts to different service. Either A, they have retired, or B, they lived outside the Waycross. My nearest contact was Jacksonville, Florida. We want to have one that was able to find locally to do that repair and make the purchase.
So this is the only price you had on it? Was that?
That's the only one that I could get. We contact again 2 locals, and they never responded.
Okay.
James, where will the money come from? Out of his regular budget or
It'll come out of the 2014 SPLOST.
loss?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to ask Carlo. Carlo, can you look into that PA? You don't mess with the PAs, do you? You don't have anything to do with that? Or?
He was a part of the process as well.
I originally went over there and took a look at it with him, and just all the equipment that's over there, I'm not familiar with the type of equipment, so it would be out of my league of trying to deal with that type of equipment that's over there.
Okay. I knew you did IT and all that. I was wondering if you not knew. So,
And Mr. Chairman, I believe, right now we have for this like about 63,000 that's in the 2014 SPOS.
60 something, I think,
Yeah.
for that, yes, sir.
So it's this money's in there for that, that's for the rec
For his
department.
budget, but,
Right.
that's gonna hit your budget pretty hard right there, though, isn't it?
It's in the 2014 SPOS,
Yeah,
so it won't come out of his regular budget.
Right.
It's
So
leftover
this-
monies they haven't spent in 2014.
This will come out of the 14 spot.
14 SPOS.
okay.
And just for the record, the quote that was received was from Southern Auto Design, and just so that we're transparent, that company is partly owned by Jonathan Daniel. So I just want to make sure that we're transparent.
We didn't really need a PA in Manor, cause that boy down there knew how to call hogs, and they could hear him all the way across school.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
is there any more discussion on it?
That's it, I think. I'll make a motion that we approve this bid that's coming out of the 2014 SPOS.
Okay,
Just
Second it.
I got a motion and a
the
second.
second Southern Auto Design.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, you got a motion and a second on it now. Is there any more discussion on it? No, let's vote on it now.
Who you recognize as second, Mr. Chairman?
Huh?
Who?
Lucas.
Lucas.
You get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Tindall? Mr. Lucas? Mr. Cox?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Okay. All right, this is, D. Now, this is resolution of 2025-11. This is out of the FLOSS referendum. Now, you know, let's see. This is to adopt a resolution to put it on the ballot. Is that correct?
Yes.
We want to be able to put it on the ballot.
Right.
Yeah.
November.
And,
November.
November. Yeah, I guess I could, the purpose of adopt this resolution is calling for a 1% floating local option sales tax to be placed on the November 4th, 2025 ballot for approval by the Ware County voters. The proceeds from the 1% tax would be used exclusively to reduce property tax. The tax shall be imposed for a period of 20 calendar months, and the estimated funds to be raised is $55 million. So,
Mr. Chairman, I want to make a correction on that. It's 20 calendar quarters, not months.
he's got
Yeah,
20
I inadvertently
calendar
put
months.
in the
Okay, 20 quarters.
quarters, yes, sir.
I thought, yeah, that was on there last time. I think we
It
didn't
is
change
correct
did
in
we?
the resolution language,
I
Mr.
remember.
Chairman, just on the
Yeah, it's
agenda
20
item. Yeah.
20 quarters. Okay. Now I hear a motion to put this thing on the ballot.
I make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we approve the resolution 2025-11 for the 1% floating local option sales tax for November 4th, 2025, be put on the ballot for the voters to vote it up or down.
Okay. I hear,
I'll second that motion.
okay, I got a motion and a second. Okay, is there any discussion on it?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to say this is, we're putting it to the voters to decide.
Right.
We're not deciding, the voters is gonna decide, so
Yep.
I wanna make that
It'll
clear.
be a fair thing. We
Can't blame us.
can't blame us for it. But I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
If we can get it on there.
Right.
You know, we can lower our taxes.
Yep. And
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to reiterate the way it's outlined, it's gonna be on the ballot, and say with proceeds to be used exclusively to reduce property taxes imposed by Ware County and the city of Waycross. So we can't go buy tractors with this, or, backhoes, excavators. This is
No.
strictly to reduce property taxes, and lower our millage rate, which in turn will reduce your property taxes.
That's right.
And, we got tax commissioner back there, he's nodding his head, so is that right, Mr. Tax Commissioner?
This,
Yeah, you know it.
right.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman.
Good afternoon.
Commissioners. Yes, that's correct. It's, the money is strictly for the property taxes. The millage rate will be reduced. It's a win, really, for all taxpayers.
Right.
And I will say, I do want to say, without spreading their business, I have been contacted by Pierce County, and they're in the early stages of doing the same thing. So it's not just a Ware County deal. It's going to be happening all over the state.
Right.
And that's to help reduce the taxpayers' tax burden, and they can getting it off the people coming in buying stuff
Right.
from the stores and the business here in West County.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there any more discussion on it? All right, let's call for a vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Tindall? Mr. Lucas? Mr. Cox?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Okay. Okay, this is intergovernmental agreement for FLA. Okay. Now, here's the one.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, this is an intergovernmental agreement between Ware County and the city of Waycross about the division of the proceeds. This agreement will only come into play if the voters in November choose to approve the 1% flossed. I did receive an email this morning from the city of Waycross's attorney, of course, Mr. Huey Spearman, and then also they have Ms. Cheslin, who recently has started, and they do have a requested couple of revisions to this document. They basically are just to add language specific from the statute that clarifies, Commissioner Burse's point earlier, that this is only for use for, tax rollback. And so there's a couple of things they would like to add. And so I have reviewed that language that they've requested. I don't have any objection to it. I believe it is in accordance with what the statute says. And really, whether it's added or not, we still are required to comply with those statutes. But just for everybody's clarity, I certainly don't have objection to adding that. And so I would just ask, for the sake of time, I think it is smart for us to go ahead and approve it today, because that will allow our elections office to go ahead and get started with the ballot building and all. But I would just ask if you all would approve it, subject to giving me the authority to make those two revisions to add that statutory language. That would be helpful.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, so, if I may.
go ahead.
So, one of the things, Madam Attorney, you say was the, about, what was the part, the first one you said?
Sure, and I'll be glad to send this email that I received from the city of Waycross's council. Let me see if I can get to it real quick. But it's Ms. Cheslin Green, and then of course Mr. Huey Spearman. And the two things that they wanted to reference was simply, like I said, that as far as how the money can be spent, and then also just as far as record keeping of the funds. Like as you're familiar with SPLOST, there's very specific record keeping, and so that's all referenced in the statute. Again, I think we're responsible for those, whether they're in the intergovernmental agreement or not, but I think it is prudent. I certainly don't have objection. If the city would like to add that language, I don't have any objection to adding it.
Okay. The county would probably handle it then. they handle all of the collection.
The county will
and-
handle the collections and then we'll disperse it, that's correct.
And then
Right.
dispose of it.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. Okay. Now,
No, this isn't approving the percentage, this is approving
well,
the splits.
let me see.
This also will include, the percentage is contained in this agreement, so
I
yes,
believe
this
it's in there
is
though, Timmy, yeah.
including the percentage.
Yeah, 58.42, and that's approving that percentage too.
Right. Yep, basically what they want.
I'm sorry I overlooked that, but I know that I've spoken to a couple behind the doors and made a comment at our last meeting that if we go off of per capita, it's gonna be 70-30. And I thought that's what we went off, was per capita. How many heads are in the city, how many heads are in the county at nighttime?
Okay,
Yeah.
so, Mr. Chairman, so,
Go ahead.
okay, on the loss, and maybe the tax commission can help me out on this. Right now, on the loss tax, which is the local op sales tax, it's what, 58.42, right?
Yes,
Okay.
That's what they got here.
And this is what I think, my understanding and feeling was that we pretty much travel the same thing on this floss tax.
that's between the boards, how you always negotiate the splits. But it's used as those like SPOS funds. The SPOS is for, the reduction of property taxes. And that's what the floss is gonna be used for also. So the splits, that's totally up between the city commission and the county commission boards.
Okay, but the resolution we have before us right now stipulates the 58.42, which I think, that's what we're gonna travel on as far as with the loss, and also, but as far as the part about the money, how the money can be spent, that's no problem, that's pretty much a no-brainer, we know it's for reduction of property taxes, and the, record keeping of the proceeds, which I guess they just wanna make sure, hey, if we get in this amount, that, we're doing our due diligence to give them their fair part, and I think we'd be derelict in our responsibility and duties if we didn't give them what was rightfully theirs.
And just for this board's benefit, I agree with the tax commissioner as far as certainly, Commissioner Lucas is mentioning population. That is something that, some boards are looking at to use for their negotiation. Other boards are using the last year's, tax base, what taxes were actually, assessed. And so then others are negotiating. And so, this number is just a number that my understanding the city has already approved and that it was direction, as far as what to insert. But I want you all to understand that it is a negotiated number. There's, to my understanding, not a set rule on how we reach it. Of course, it's got to be something that both city and county agree to, and then it would have to be something that the voters ultimately approve, or else this intergovernmental agreement doesn't come into play.
So if we,
Okay, I'm sorry, Commissioner, go ahead.
no, I'm about to say, so if we vote on this resolution as it stands right now, this is pretty much set in stone as far as the rate, the,
If we do it now,
distributions.
yeah.
My understanding is they have, and I'll ask the county manager to confirm that, but my understanding is that the city has already approved these documents.
Okay. And, one thing, and I know some may agree and may not agree, but when it comes to the taxes generated in Ware County, I'm gonna put it that way, I don't know what percentage, but the biggest percentage of that money is generated within the corporate limits of the city of Waycross. And, I think that we need to bear that in mind also. It's not like we have a whole lot of businesses in the county. We have some, but not to the degree that we have in the city. So the city is really where the money is being generated.
What I would also like to add to that as well, is like most of the money is generated in the city, I totally agree with that. But you also have about a 70-30 split, because 70% of the people in Ware County live in the county. So it's kind of like take from one and add to the other, which is what we did several years ago. It was a 60-40 split, and I remember us talking about it, and we moved it to a 58-42 supposed to be for 1 year, and now we're on the third year that it was changed to 58-42. And to me, that's taking away extra money for extra years from our county taxpayers. I mean, that 2% is a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money. And it's paid by a lot of people outside this county.
That's true.
So the city
Yeah.
can't say that, you know, they're the ones putting money out, because they're not putting anything out. They're just collecting like we are.
What,
And
no?
they just have to collect a bigger portion.
Yeah, and you know, I wasn't really, indicating that they are the one that's, collecting the money. I'm just saying that the money, the resources for the money to be generated are in the city businesses.
Yes, sir.
So I agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
If it's gonna be put on to lower property taxes, why aren't it done on a percentage basis on lowering everybody's taxes, same thing? Instead of city get part, county get part, why the whole, like if you're gonna lower them 20%, lower everybody's 20%. It'd be a more,
I agree with that.
instead of going back into this over here, you know, city or the county, can that be done, Roger?
Well, it is not designed for that, because you have city, which is incorporated, that's a separate government, and not all tax commissioners collect for cities. They collect for the county. And, so to say that you're gonna have, it's gonna lower it down by X number of percentage across the board is not necessarily true. And the split is a negotiated, that's the same way with lost. The loss is, it's a negotiated, percentage based on population, I believe. And, so by giving a blank statement that we're gonna reduce by this much and we're gonna do it, I don't see that being able to happen as a tax commissioner across the board if they won't collect for the cities. I collect for the city of Waycross, but still everything is adjusted with the values and all this stuff, and there's millage rates that the sales tax that comes in that offsets the gross values on the digest. So that'll be for the county, that millage rate will be totally different than what it would be for the cities for what is gross off of their tax bills. So you for us to be able to do it, honestly, they would have to be city of Waycross and Ware County is going to have to consolidate. That's the only way we would be able to do that for everybody across the board at 1%.
So, off the top of your head, right now, maybe Billy or you one could tell, what is the population as far as in the county of Ware, city versus county?
If I'm not mistaken, it's like, at the highest point, it's maybe around 14,000 in the city and over 22,000 in the county.
So you'll be talking about what, maybe like 67%, 62, 63% in the county versus maybe 37, 38 in the city. So if you base it on that, then you would be talking about, whatever, if you went on population like Commissioner Lucas was talking about, you'd be talking about 67% versus.
Yeah, that's the population.
But like you said, it's no one size fit all, and I would just hope that we would kind of come to some kind of agreement on this resolution, because this is so needed, I think, and to get here and start splitting hairs over, a percent or two, I just don't think that would be a good thing, you know, for the citizen to have to try to deal with, because the bottom line, we try and reduce the millage rate, which will in turn reduce the property tax you pay.
Yes.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, go
Do,
ahead.
do we don't have time to negotiate with the city, or is it a deadline, or?
There's not much time at all if we don't get this to the Board of Elections and so they can get it on the ballot. What happens is if we miss is it 90 days?
No.
90 days. If we miss the 90-day mark, then you have to put it on the ballot as a separate ballot. So basically what that means is that if I went to go vote, I would take and get a ballot to vote one way for whatever the regular is, and then go back and get another ballot to vote for the 1 cent. So and that's what we're trying to do, is trying to meet the deadlines to get it on the referendum. You know, the lost is the 58, 42,
58, 42.
42, and when I done the population from 2020, after last meeting, it was 61% county, maybe 39 cities, so that's about a 60-40 split. And so, you know, it just,
Which will be pretty much right where we are now.
it just made sense to us that when we sent this out was to do the splits to match the loss. Since this is essentially the same thing as a loss, it's just coming off on the back end. So my understanding, if you miss this cycle of voting, then the citizens won't see any, if it goes through as it is now, and Roger, correct me on my dates, but if it goes through as it is now, we get in November, you start collecting in January, the citizens won't see any benefits until 27.
Yeah.
So if you miss this and you go, and then you'll probably wait, and you may move it back another year or whatever if you go. So
You can, correct me if I'm wrong, if it's not in November, it can be done on the next year's, on an election that they have next year, which I don't know what we have next year.
I'm not sure if floss is any different, but we have the major election, which is the gubernatorial cycle.
Yeah.
So it probably end up being, it could be probably in March on the primary.
March and November, and then possibly some additional ones, depending on the year. I'd have to look at the statute before I wanted to answer that for sure.
So it would be possible to have it on the ballot again, next year, early next year. But again, the citizens, the taxpayers are not going to reap the benefits until at least 27. And if it goes to next year, it's going to be very minimal in 27, 28, they'll have a larger discount.
Okay.
And I'll point out, Chairman, I did that, 2% of 55 million, the difference y'all were talking about is $1,100,000. That's the difference y'all were discussing in that 2%.
And I'm glad, because that's where I was sitting there trying to figure out how much would that actually be, and I think it would be a sad commentary if we, for whatever reason, we went with this right here and it didn't pass, and we say we're not gonna do it unless they do this, and for $1 million, we look at what we really giving up to all the citizens of Waycross and Ware County as far as property tax reduction.
Yeah.
and I'd
I
say
thought we talked on a 60-40, Timmy and I was, and when I saw this today, I really thought that that's what we were gonna try for. Did we ask the city for
They had already
60-40, or what did?
we sent it, everything was sent to the city attorney, and he put it on the agenda at the 58-42, just like the lost was. So that's how, and then I think they had a meeting.
Well, that
pretty
wasn't
quick,
what
and
we
they were
agreed
gonna
on
approve
the
that.
last meeting.
Sorry?
If I'm not mistaken, we didn't agree on that. We agreed
Well,
on
we sent
60-40.
this when we first got all the numbers in. It was sent over there to the city attorney for review.
Yeah, and we
then
never
it
did.
was put on
But
there.
we never did really settle on that.
No, we
We
didn't
never
settle.
really settled
arguing
on
back to.
a complete percentage, no, sir.
Yeah, it came up and, different ones had different opinions about the split and everything, and So it wasn't never a consensus where we say, okay, we're going with this amount, or we're going with that amount. But one thing we using this kind of, I guess, a yardstick was the loss tax.
Yes,
And
sir.
saying that that's what we currently doing with the loss tax, the 5842.
And at the end of the day, this board represents all 36,000 constituents in Ware County.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
So, if we go with this and approve this, then it's gonna be,
It'll be for 5 years.
yeah, be for 5 years on 5842.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Lucas.
I remember having a conversation, with the city, and they asked for an extra 2% 3 years ago, if it wasn't 4 years ago, I believe it was 3 years ago. But, because we met up there on the second floor, right down on the other side of the hall where y'all sitting now.
Right.
And the city was there, had a reception, and we agreed to let them have that extra 2% then, because they had vehicles to purchase and several other things, high dollar items, that they needed 2%, with the understanding that it would come back to us the following year at 60/40. And we've never stuck to that. We've been giving the city 2 extra percent 2 additional years. So I would like to, at least talk to our finance director and find out when this started and get some paperwork to show it, and how much money we're gonna be giving up for our constituents in the county, who we represent.
1.1 million.
Well, and I don't know if they took minutes of that meeting or anything like that. I hope they would, but I would like to see if that was in fact what happened. And I'm not, discounting what you're saying, but if it was 60/40 with the understanding that it will revert back, it will revert back to the 60/40 after 2 years or whatever you're saying, or 1 year, because they had to buy vehicles. And I don't recall that. I think that's during the time when they were in between managers, and I think Mark Hawkins, I believe, may have been the acting manager at that time.
He was.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
And,
Mark.
And that's when it was changed. That's when it was changed, is when he was the acting manager.
and if that's
And
what,
we respectfully make that request to get vehicles for employees that year, or not for employees, but, that they're owned by the city, but employees drive.
yeah. And I would just like to see that, and, if they took minutes of that meeting, if that was in fact the case, and if it was, well, then that change the whole scope of it. If that's what we in fact agreed to, was to do it for 1 year. But I can't see where we just agreed to give them more percentage to buy vehicles. That just something don't.
Mr. Chairman, if we may, we can move this to the end of the meeting. Melinda, Ms. Brooks has gone to look for the minutes for that to see if there is a set of minutes for.
Okay, well, I think.
We can move it to the,
End of this.
If
end
we'll
of
just
the
take a
meeting.
motion and a vote to move this item to the last item on
To
the
the last
agenda,
item,
and then that'll give us
okay.
time to move through everything else while she does the
we'll
research.
find out if that's on.
Mr. Chairman, I will.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I'll second it.
I got a motion and a second to move this to the last of the meeting. Okay, let's move on then. We don't have to vote on that, do we? Just made a
A
motion.
vote, yes, a vote.
We do, okay. To
Vote.
move this meeting to the end of the meeting, let's call for a vote. Mr. Burris.
Aye.
Mr. Tindall. Mr. Lucas.
Aye.
Mr. Cox.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, okay. We move it to the end of the meeting, okay. The next one is, I'm gonna have to turn this over to, Mr. Cox, the co-chair, to, handle this part right here. I won't be voting on it.
Okay. This is to approve, Thrift Brothers, contract for dirt paving on Pascal Road. This was put off at last meeting till we could decide, how we was gonna do it. So, and I think that's been decided, right, James?
Yes, sir. So, I'll just clarify, this is to approve a contract with Thrift Brothers Construction to pave North McDonald Road, Cornelius Road, Griffin Road, approximately 1 mile, Pascal Road. A bid opening was held, and Thrift Brothers was the lowest and best bid with a total base bid of $2,764,725.60. At last meeting, it was tabled. There was questions about easement on Pascal Road between the cattle gates. I went and found that easement and pulled it out from the clerk's office. So we do have an official easement there. I've also been in contact with Mr. Burchett. He is kin to the Fullards there. And he's been talking to the estate representatives about actually dedicating fee simple. So we have a fee simple deed for Pascal. And so I sent him some more information, and we would like to move forward with this. And end of the day, if we don't get it dedicated to us, we have an easement on it, so we can go forward with it. Only thing, the condition of the easement is that we have to maintain the cattle gaps.
Okay. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Let's
Go ahead,
there.
Mr. Burris.
If I may, well, I guess we need to go and get a motion and get into discussion phase, because I wanted to ask a couple of questions.
I make a motion that we go ahead and approve this to get it done. If we don't, we're gonna be backing up. So
Yeah.
I think we need to go ahead and let's get this done. So,
Okay, and this is for the entire contract, not just Pascal Road?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
I'll second that motion.
okay. All right, call for, any more discussion?
Yes, I would just like to say too, on the Pascal Road, we were just trying to find out if we in fact had an easement. It went back into about whether we had one, and the manager said he went over there and did confirm that we do have one over there, have an easement on that road, which is what, 40-foot easement?
40-foot easement, yes, sir.
And Madam Attorney, I want to just make sure we're correct, and with that easement, we can pave that road.
Yes, sir. Every county has requirements about what they will specifically require in order to pave a road. There's a wide range about what counties believe acceptable as far as width, right of dedication, whether through prescriptive rights or through, an outright deed to get a fee simple property. So the answer is legally, yes, you can, if you deem it prudent to do so.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, and so with that being said, we do have the easement, so we can proceed, and this is not for the whole Pascal, it's just from that cattle gap to Smith Road, right? That's what we're dealing about, talking about the easement.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and we're still gonna try to pursue getting a right of way, not just an easement, but a right of way.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so I think that's a good move, and probably could have saved a lot of time, because Mr. Littlejohn told us we had an easement over there.
Right.
I guess you didn't
Well, I
have.
think we just wanted a written easement in hand.
Right.
Yeah.
So we appreciate that. So she knew what she was talking about on
She
that.
did. That's right.
Okay, that's all I have, Mr.
And
Chairman.
Commissioner Burris, I'd like to add something to that.
All right.
That family that has been coming up there for about 20 years plus, every time, every meeting we've had, I'm just thankful this is finally getting done for them.
I am too.
I mean, they do persistent, that's about the most persistent couple I've ever met in my entire
Right,
life.
exactly.
This was something they wanted to do, and they set out to do it, and I just wish we could have done it before now. I'm just so happy now we're doing it. Thank y'all.
Yep.
Okay.
I think if you look in the dictionary under perseverance, you'll see Mr. and Mrs. Littlejohn picture by up there. So I appreciate their efforts, and overdue.
All right, we'll call for a vote. Mr. Burris,
Aye.
Mr. Tindall, Mr. Lucas. Okay, the vice chair votes aye. So motion approved.
Okay.
And the record will reflect that Chairman Thrift did abstain.
Yep.
Right. And also in his motion, did he state the amount for that bid? Did
Do you want to
that?
state? I don't know if he stated it loud. Do you have the amount?
$2,764,725.60.
Right.
Turn it back over to the chairman.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Coach Jeff. Okay, we'll go on to G, purchase request for a F-350 for, is it EMA?
EMA.
I think we already approved that, didn't we? And he's got a price on it for him to buy that truck.
Well, during our budget process, Mr. Chairman, the commission tasked staff with going and getting updated quotes for an F-350 for EMA, for the purpose of pulling some vehicles. And if you don't mind, I ask Jonathan if he has anything to come up and speak on it. But you have 3 quotes there. One from Robbie Robinson Ford, one from Allen Vigil Ford, and one from Brandon Ford. And then Robbie Robinson was the cheapest at $66,999.
Okay.
I don't know if John has anything to add.
Say that again, what was that amount?
I think Robbie Robertson was cheaper.
Robbie.
Robert Robinson.
I'm sorry, Robbie Robinson was the cheapest at $63,030.
Okay, I thought my ears were failing me.
I looked at Robbie Robinson on the line above and read the next
Okay,
number.
okay.
I don't have anything to add to it, other than I appreciate the commission to, buy this prime over. It's something that we've needed for a long time. And, we have a lot of, trailers that we have to move from time to time during disasters. And the last trailer we moved, I think we burned up the transmission in one of the fire department trucks. So, it's something that's needed, that'll be used, to help us move those things around whenever they're called upon.
Okay. Is it in stock? Can you get
It
it?
is not in stock. It'll be a 2026. We just missed the deadline on the 25. And,
Okay.
so this will be a 2026. So they'll have to order.
They give you a delivery date yet?
He did not.
He didn't. Okay.
And
All right.
Mr.
Thank
Chairman,
you.
if I may, I talked with Jonathan, and one thing I had some concern about was this truck just gonna be used just for to haul this stuff when you have disasters, because I hate, we got that brand new truck in this, but he said it's other things that we'll be able to use that truck
Right.
for.
So we'll be using it for to haul other equipment from time to time. May not drive it every day, but it'll be driven. Just
But when we get that building, it's gonna be in that building and not sitting out in the elements.
Okay.
that's all I have. Thank you very much.
All righty. Thank you, John. Let's see, I haven't got a motion on it. No, I ain't got
Not
a-
yet.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, I offer motion.
I hear a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I offer motion that we, accept the request to purchase the F-350 truck for Ware County EMA in the amount of, $63,030 from, Robert Robinson.
Okay.
I second that
All right,
motion.
I got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on it now?
One thing I'm glad this is a local bid too.
Yeah.
This is the one that has the bid
Stay
around,
local.
it's right here.
All right, any more? All right, let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Tindall? Mr. Lucas? Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. Now I got 8, surplus request for PC units without monitors.
Mr. Chairman, this is, 70 computers that are no longer in service that IT is requesting to, surplus. They're just taking up room in his office upstairs, I do believe.
We're gonna put them on Gov Deal or something?
Yeah, please.
We'll do them by the pallet,
Oh, you got them.
so
How many units are they?
approximately 70.
70, but they're probably gonna be more than 70. Yeah, but what we're gonna try to do is when they have the next auction out there at Public Works, we're gonna try to put it with them and see if they can auction them off at the same time.
Okay.
And see what kind of money, if they don't sell, then we'll try to put them on Gov Deals and see if they sell there. If they don't, then we just have to dispose of them.
Okay.
How long will it be before they have another auction? September, okay.
Yeah, I don't know, it'd be a while, won't it?
September. You might can go ahead and put them on Gov Deals and get more
Yeah.
out of them.
I'd probably go ahead and put them on that Gov Deal line, let them see what they do on there. Cause we ain't gonna have no auction no time soon, are we?
September.
I can get them on that same auction that we had,
back in April. You can get it with that company, and they have one every month.
Oh,
So I can
okay.
put it on the next month.
Okay.
I'll get with you.
All right,
I make the motion that, we approve this, request to, surplus these PC units.
I'll second it.
we got a motion and a second. Any discussion on it? Okay, let's vote on it. Mr. Burris.
Aye.
Mr. Tindall. Mr. Lucas. Mr. Cox.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. Now, this is the board reappointment of the planning commission.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Parker, Jeffrey Parker's term expires, June 30th for the planning commission. He has expressed desire to be reappointed, so this is a, request to reappoint Mr. Parker, to the, planning commission. And he has been a faithful member.
Okay. It's 3-year term, ain't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And it'll be for post 9.
All right. I hear a motion that we
Mr. Chairman,
reappoint.
I make a motion that we reappoint, Jeffrey Parker to the,
Got a motion and a second. Okay. Any discussion on it? Not, let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Tindall? Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. Now, before we quit, managers' comments. But, I don't know if she's back yet or not.
No,
Y'all-
we did
anybody got any-
obtain, and I'll ask the, Madam Attorney if she'll go over what we obtained.
The clerk, I believe, is still searching for minutes and any other applicable documents, but she did bring a document dated September 14th of 2022, wherein the former county manager sent the lost certificate to the state, and I'll bring this to you all so you can review it, but it does delineate Ware at 58%, Waycross at 42%, and it has attached a resolution regarding the lost distribution where it details that breakdown. And then it simply says, and I believe this is standard language, where it says, the certificate shall continue in effect until such time as a new certificate shall be executed as provided, and be filed. So essentially, and in no way disagreeing with Commissioner Lucas, because, I'm not sure that we were privy for all the communications in the meetings as far as what the intent of the parties was to change to a different percentage. But what we can say based on this document, it is still at this point 58-42, and then the clerk is, I believe, still researching. So, if you gentlemen would like to, I suppose we could take handle all other business and then take a quick break to allow her to provide you with anything else that she'd like to, or if the county manager thinks that we have enough information to make a decision, it's certainly up to you all.
Okay. Let's take a 10-minute break
Yeah,
on it.
I think that'd be
see
good.
and we'll be back in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Maybe.
find out so that we can go
And see what we
vote it up or
can come
down
up.
tonight.
Let's hear something.
And let me add one thing to that, Chairman.
Go ahead.
The date that she just gave you was the date of that meeting I was referring to when we changed it to 58. So we had to have a reason to change it to begin with, like a request being made. And that's what I explained earlier.
So what was it before the 58-42?
64.
60-40.
Yeah, it was 60-40. It was 60.
It was 60-40. And we gave them that extra 2% to buy them vehicles that because I think there was 5 or 6 that they needed that year. And there was some other thing, big ticket items
And this
or something,
my
a
recollection
building or something, I can't exactly remember, but I remember the vehicles.
And so,
And that was under the understanding, and me under the impression, that it would just revert back to following
we had
you.
been paying them a certain amount per year for animals,
Well,
and then remember all that happened. and
Like I said, that's why I wanna
shut
try to
down
find if it's in the
So we
medicine. If it
stopped
is,
paying
then, we have to address
And
that.
then essentially said, okay, but we're gonna renegotiate based on that. That's what
we're gonna, Timmy, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going back now to E, which is the intergovernmental agreement for the floss tax.
Chairman, I'd like to offer a motion that we, approve the intergovernmental agreement for the floss tax, and all is contained in that resolution, it's a percentage amounts, and also a couple of things. I think our attorney said that they want to change more like a housekeeping thing, and so I want that included in my motion also.
Okay, do we need to state that? Have you got?
I understand it. I think it's just direction to staff to incorporate the two changes that we discussed, referencing the statutes that the city attorney requested.
And I noted those last time.
Okay, you got that then.
Yes,
All right, I got, and you made a motion.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second.
You got a motion and a second. Now, is there any more discussion on it? If not, let's vote on it. Mr. Burson?
Aye.
Mr. Tindall, he's out. Mr. Lucas? Mr. Cox?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Okay. All right. Let's see. Is there any, manager comments?
We'll have a bid opening July 2nd for the phase 1 of the short roads around the city that we approved for the LMIG.
Okay.
So,
Is that for the striping?
no, so that's just the, your paving.
Okay, for
For the
sure.
short roads,
Okay,
yeah.
short
The
road.
first phase of the short roads.
Okay.
Around, and we'll have that in July, and then we'll follow up in, maybe August with, the second phase of the short roads. And then we should be hearing something from, DOT about the SAP plan, which is Safety Action Plan, the striping. That was $291,000, I believe, grant, and we have a 10% match. And, next month, we will try to have the items in our buildings over here that we're gonna try to surplus. The two storage buildings, we have those on the list, or those items on the list to be surplus, so we can, sell those or dispose of them if they don't have any value. Waiting on the surveyor to survey the Alice, or the Ossie Davis property on the corner of Alice and Ossie Davis for the little white building.
Okay.
Once we get the survey back, we'll proceed. We're putting a bid package together for to receive sealed bids to sell that property as well.
Okay.
And then I was doing a little research over the earlier this week and noticed that in the tax database there's some vacant lands that appears to be owned by Ware County in some residential areas. It's not many, it's 3 or 4. But with the board's permission or consensus, I would like to ask get permission to go to the county attorney to do a title research and see that we really do own those properties. If we do, is bring those back when we have that completed. Bring those back and get them surplused and maybe get those sold as well and get them on tax books.
So these are adjacent to homes, or?
Some are just on the inner roads. Some are in between, 2 lots owned by someone. So we just need to move forward. I believe that, there won't be any use for us.
Yeah.
They're actually I think most of them might be in the city, and then one's in the county. And I think it comes from, speaking with Roger and council, and I think it comes from back in a time where the properties maybe they didn't sell at a tax sale, and nobody claimed them within 5 years, so many years, and then Ware County took ownership of them. So, but I just think that we need to, put them back on the tax rolls if we can.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I've asked him, can you give us a little update on the library for the renovations they've started and everything?
Yes, sir. They've started. I went there yesterday, I believe. and they fixed a lot of sheetrock, they cut a lot of concrete to put the plumbing in, and, they were still pulling up some flooring. Appears to be that they're on track.
That's good.
It's gonna look different in there, I believe, when they finish, so.
And I think with the bid coming in just a little low, I think that additional money, we gonna do some paving, not paving, but resurfacing them on the parking lot out there.
We'll try to, if we have enough, we'll try to resurface it or at least, seal it and stripe it, maybe.
Okay.
Okay. Any more?
That's all I have.
Okay, is that all you got?
That's all I have, yes, sir.
You know, I asked about this property on Albany Avenue. I had a lot of people been asking me about this property, and I asked the manager, so if you would let the commission know that we asked to go ahead and move on buying the property down the Albany Avenue as soon as we can hear from the engineer that he has the deed, the property that we got to acquire.
Yes, sir. As soon as we get the plat and deed, so we can have it appraised, and we'll send those over to the county attorney to start that process to purchase whatever right of way we got to purchase, or structures, or what have you. So.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, on the State Street, when is the let date supposed to be on that, September?
September, yes, sir.
Okay, and what do they project as far as the completion? I mean,
I think
2
it had
years.
about a 2-year build out on it.
2 years.
I'm not real sure, but I think it was about a 2-year build out on the State Street overpass.
2 years.
So
There's gonna be a lot of happy people in Ware County.
there's gonna be a lot of
Yeah,
upset
on
people out
Albany
there.
Avenue too, we have to get across this.
Well, long 2 years.
Yeah.
So, and that brings me up to another point, is I want to look at, bring something back to the board, maybe get an engineer to look at, Wakeona and Dorothy. Or actually I've asked our transportation engineer, while they were looking at doing the transportation study, to look and try to consider that road being closed during the construction, if it is, and, how the traffic patterns will affect Wakeona at Dorothy. And it may be something that we look at putting a right turn lane on Wakeona there, so that you can have traffic that's turning right, get in the right turn lane and not stop, because what I see, if we don't do something, and if that becomes a continual bypass like it is, when trains are on there, you're gonna have some people may go straight, and you're gonna have somebody stop at Dorothy, and you're gonna have a right angle collision, they're gonna pull out in front of them, there. Or, if you wanna stop people, maybe make a three-way stop or something there, so. But we'll look at that a little further.
That's on Dorothy and Wakeona, right there,
Yes.
kinda where it dead ends.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I think that's why Cypress Street was paved before that bridge, so it'd have a bypass around it.
Right.
Yeah.
Access around it. Okay. Any more comment?
No.
Anybody got anything else they need to bring up?
No, sir.
Okay. Lucas, you got anything?
No, sir. No, thank you.
From this agreement.
Okay. All right.
Which is this.
I hear a motion to adjourn.
So move, Mr. Chair.
I think.
Motion in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.